Hey, so insight number 4, sitting outside here in the sun. Yes, it's gorgeous and I'm enjoying every minute, although there is a breeze that just picked up and is cooling me down, but it's still good enough. It's all good. Alright. So yeah, we're in section 100s because it's section 98 to 101 this week. You want to watch the rest of them, you know, they're saved in my highlights. Go look at that. Now, verse 12. Let's just read it first. Says, "Therefore continue your journey and let your hearts rejoice, for behold and lo, I am with you even unto the end." So continue your journey and let your heart rejoice. Are we doing that these days? Are we continuing our journey and letting our heart rejoice? Or are we just doing one or the other? Because often I've continued my journey, my heart has not been rejoicing. My heart's been a bit sad and bitter, really. Not at the moment, although it gets sad sometimes. Rejoicing can be hard some days, but I'm still continuing the journey. So for me, they don't always go together. And what really I like about this is that this is kind of after Joseph would have got the news of the Missouri thing. And what I love about that horrible Missouri part where they got kicked out of Jackson County, and horrible persecution and many deaths, and it hurts my heart so much to even think about it. And yet, after all of that, W.W. Phelps sat on the banks that night that they had been evicted and had to run. He sat down the banks and he penned, "Now let us rejoice," which is hymn number 3. And please go look up those words of the hymn, because it is just beautiful. So after all that had happened, and people left their homes with no shoes, with no belongings, and had to leave it all behind, and they couldn't go back for it. They just had to leave it. I can't imagine what that's like. For those that have lost everything like that, I am definitely sorry, and I don't ever want that to happen to me. That is something I do not ever want to have to experience. But after that happened, for whatever reason, and maybe they could have been better prepared, maybe a lot of things, but it happened. And in the midst of all that horrible, harsh, icky, Brother Phelps sat on the banks of the river and wrote, "Now let us rejoice in the day of salvation. No longer as strangers on earth need we roam. Good tidings are sounding to us in each nation, and shortly the hour of redemption shall come, when all that was promised the saints will be given, and none will molest them from morn until eve, and earth will appear as the Garden of Eden." It's beautiful, right? And he wrote all of that, and that's not all the verses, but that sentiment in that song, because it's not even now where the saints are without harassment. We still get that. It's still coming. The day he's talking about is still coming. Yeah, there's been moments of peace, and yes, we now have more protections under laws, but it's still not complete. There's still our saints, our members that get harassed and picked on, who don't get the jobs they want to go for, who get just the most ugliness thrown at them. But let us rejoice in our journey. Let us take the journey, continue our journey, and rejoice, because we're no longer wandering as strangers. We're part of Zion. We know better. We know what's next. We know Jesus Christ. And I love that he did that, and I love that after such ugliness, he took it and made it good, showing that it can be good. As sucky as it can be good. Anyway, so this reminder is given for many reasons. One of them is for us right now, because that hymn applies to us right now. No matter what circumstances, awful as they can be, continue your journey and rejoice that Christ is with you, because Christ was with them. Even though they might not have deserved it, some of them, they weren't being the best saints, they weren't prepared, they had ignored warnings, they were still learning, right? And we're like that too. We do the same stuff. You might look back there and go, well, I would have been better prepared. Well, I would have done this. Well, yeah, maybe you would have, but they didn't, and plenty of us don't right now. So take the warning. Be better prepared. Listen to the prophets. Listen to the scriptures. Can't say it enough, really, can we? Yes, as awful as it can be, whatever circumstance, continue your journey and rejoice that Christ is with you. Look eternally with bright hope of things to come. Rejoice in the knowledge that you have, no matter how awful, Christ is with you, and he will never forsake you or leave you, ever. To look eternally, not myopically, as President Nelson would put it, which is a harsh reminder to not look myopic. I was looking myopically this morning, and it was really getting me down. I'm like, no, look eternally, think eternally. Eternally is good. I'm not alone. Christ is walking this with me. I'm in a lot of pain, but that's momentarily. It will pass. I'm looking myopically. Stop doing that. Yeah. Anyway, Sister Bonnie L. Oscarson, she said, despite the conditions of our day, we have many reasons to rejoice and be optimistic. And I have so many reasons to rejoice and be optimistic in our day. There's so much goodness. There's goodness that I have a priesthood holder in my home who is a wonderful man. There's optimism that I have frozen bread in the freezer because there's none on the shelf right now, and that means that, we can still eat. We have food storage we can eat because we listen prepared. We have the sunshine, and I can sit outside and talk about Jesus Christ and not get shot. There's so many things that we have that we probably take for granted, and just look for them. There's so much to be optimistic about and so much to rejoice in, especially that Christ walks our journey with us. So continue your journey, but let your heart rejoice at the same time, because they are separate things, but they go together. Don't you love neighbours? She's doing her exercise. Anyway, I'm grateful to have my neighbours too. They're good people. There's some really ugly neighbours around here, and I've got good ones, so very grateful. Alright, that's insight number 4. I will see you soon for insight number 5. We're going to talk about how we talk to Jesus. Alright, see you there.